It's Sixx Sense.
Nikki Sixx, it's Sixx Sense. I'm with Jen. What's up, Jen?
Hi.
Jason Hook is sitting here with us.
He is. Hi, Jason.
Hi, good afternoon.
What's happening, dude?
Hey, I'm here.
Very excited. We chat on the phone and text all the time, and
Yeah, so do we.
do all the Instagram
Right.
likes on guitar
Yeah,
stuff.
he likes my guitar stuff.
He likes your guitar stuff.
He does.
What kind of guitar are you playing these days?
I have a Gibson Firebird.
That's
Hey.
pretty good. What year would that
It's
be?
a 63.
A 63. Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
Can't be cheap.
No, it was
What'd that run you?
70.
Well, you might have paid a little bit. 70,000?
Yeah, 70,
7,000.
700. I'm like,
not bad.
70? Who's
Well,
going to
next
tell
time
her?
we go guitar shopping,
Me or you.
we'll take Jen with us.
Who wants to break it? The bad news here?
So what's going on?
Just to digress for a second, my girlfriend refuses to go into Guitar Center. I spent all of those favors. She cried one time.
Oh, man.
from Stairway to Heaven.
The whole thing. She's just like, I don't like going in there.
It's painful.
So
painful.
anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
It hasn't changed since when I was a kid. I remember going in there and just all the for us, right?
I love it.
It's everything we could ever imagine.
Well,
But it's always the same. There's the guy over there playing, and then there's some jazz bass player, then the drummer, and but it's a cool thing. I hope that never goes away.
I just like to see what's available because new things are coming out all the time. That's why I love NAMM so much. Not because I'm going to buy it all, but just because the technology is always evolving and developing. And so, I just saw a tuner thing where like a handheld drill tuner thing that gives you a display, and all you do is hold it on the string, and it'll tune and everything. And you have to.
Oh, I've seen those before.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
cool.
badass. Yeah.
When is like the technology going to start like being more important than the playing in guitar, do you think?
I think it's already happening. I see lots of guitar simulated plugins and stuff like that, strumming patterns, and but for me, I'm just glad that I can. That's the instrument I chose, and I know how to play it, and it's a hard one to replace because there's so much random human element to it.
Yeah.
So
it's so interesting.
Drummers are screwed.
Drummers left the party a long time ago. Yeah. It's like I feel that with music, like I love technology and I love anything, even like loop-based stuff. But to not have some human element to it, I lose a little bit of interest. I get EDM and stuff, but like you put guitars over that same stuff, and it's like really magical.
Yeah, that's one thing that's very important to me because I grew up like old school, like everything is real. By the way, I saw this fucking can I say that? Sorry.
Now you can say anything you want.
Right. I saw this Kansas old 1980 Kansas video of them doing Carry On.
Yeah.
Holy good God. Now I wasn't a Kansas fan.
Yeah.
But
it was all there, right?
I mean, they're singing each guy's on a mic, and it's bang on, and there's a violin solo, and this guy's doing handstands on top of his piano. I mean, it was just like, where was this band when I was growing up? I mean, they're geeks, but boy, they played their ass off.
I saw Rush, Queen, and Kansas when I was a kid, all in the same bill.
Wow.
And I was just like, my mind was blown. 3 different worlds. Yeah. But that's the 70s were like that.
You had to be great. Zeppelin, Purple. I mean, you had to be like, whoa, you got to see this band, right?
Yeah. There was a weird period, I think, in the 90s where guitars became less important. Did you feel that?
It ruined me. It ruined me because I grew up with I was always around people that would play to their strengths and everything. You want to showcase your strength. Yeah. And all of a sudden, music flipped upside down where it was extremely uncool to be good or proficient. Yeah. You were one of those guys. So
I was in a session recently, and the producer asked me, could I play that same part? It was a guitar part, just with one string.
Yeah.
And it was cool, But it was funny that he's like, play it like you don't know how to play, which made me happy because I can't really play.
Why don't we just get the receptionist in here and have her do it?
Right. See how they did that? That's insane. Yeah. Do it like the receptionist.
Or it's the Pro Tools joke, right? Is the Pro Tools producer, guys, that was really awful. Come on in. Come on in.
Come back tomorrow. It'll be great.
Yeah, I can work with. It's enough there. There's enough there to work with.
Yeah. Well, you love all that stuff. Where do you find with Five Finger Death Punch? Where's the line? Because you guys are all players and singers. I mean, I toured with you guys. You guys are a great band. But I also know that Kevin Churko, the records that I've heard of yours that he did. I mean, they really expand musically.
Well, Kevin is very much new school. And he is very self-contained. He's an individual that has a tremendous amount to offer. He can play bass. He sings backgrounds. He knows, he was trained as a pianist, and so he knows all his theory, and he can chords and changes and harmonies, and he's a lot happening in one guy. And I kind of like to think that we found him first, because I met Kevin. He's Canadian as well, and I met Kevin through another Canadian that you might know, Brent Fitz. Brent Fitz, the drummer?
Yeah.
Brent and I were in Vince's band.
You're in Vince, with Vince Neil. Yeah.
So, small world. But anyway, sorry, what was I talking about? This is terrible. This happens to me all the time.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It happens to me too. We were talking about...
Yes, guilty.
Okay, you were saying that...
Oh my God, it's that good.
No, we were talking about
Canadian Fitz.
Churko, and you found him, and that you
big.
had all these Canadians.
Yes.
The Canadians was the problem in the conversation.
Sorry,
by the way,
I just turned left.
Everything was fine until the Canadians came in.
The Brent Fitz.
Yeah.
Holy fucking happened again. I was going to say something.
He's so much in one guy.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, my fault for jumping around. Kevin, we found Kevin first, 2008.
Yeah.
And the only other band that he had done that we know of is Ozzy and In This Moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I hear Hell Yeah and In This Moment and Disturbed, and I go, this is definitely Kevin.
Yeah.
I can hear the drums.
Yeah.
But who is this? No, it's Hell Yeah. No, it's Disturbed. Because everything's, he's got a template.
Well, producers do. They have a template. And I know that when we were working with Bob Rock, and then we did the Feel Good album, and then Metallica heard the Feel Good album, and they did the Black album, and you saw his career explode. But then there's a part of you, it's like, well, he's ours.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we don't really want to share.
Yeah, I know.
But having a producer in the studio that can write, do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. To me, the only thing that works for me, this is my opinion, are songs. The quality of the song. Like for me, every song can have a rating. Does it connect with the listener? Does it have those elements? A great beat that makes you just want to move, or the melody, or the lyric. Oh, reminds me of that time, whatever. So you have all those connective elements. You are closer to, this is my opinion, a hit.
Yeah.
If you can connect on all those feelings that the listener can
get. Hit's not a bad word.
Yeah.
It just means a lot of people got the same message. And if it's a good song, that's a good thing.
Right. So I'm always trying to establish those connective elements in every idea. And he gets that. So I love working with people that get that, you know, because I'm like, the track is amazing. I love this track. I don't understand the words. Like, I don't understand what the story is. So, he's right in tune with me with that kind of approach. And we just try to say, well, what would make a better... let's bring that section up a little bit if it could be better.
Well, I think that's the key to surviving, and especially not especially in the rock world, in any world, but rock music sometimes, I think some of the bands get lazy, in my opinion. I think it's like, it's like a little cliche sounding, and we know certain things that work, especially live. Like when you do the crowd starts going crazy. But you have to be careful you don't do too much of it,
right?
And grow and stuff. Well, you guys have been growing. you feel like there's still a lot of room for you guys? That was kind of a bad question, but so
no, I think so because
that was a horrible question.
Or is it over?
Yeah, is it over?
So
Jason, tell me, are you guys over?
Yeah. Well, I could tell you something, but no, I think it's. I think you hit it on the head because it's so easy to repeat yourself. Like, I'm like, okay, I know it worked for us. I know it works when we get on stage. Those fucking 4 on the floor stuff, those things were...
Love it every time.
It's just easy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this is interesting because when I play with Vince, I took Brent, the drummer, I said, what's interesting about this catalog, this Motley catalog, is that it really works well live.
Right.
They're like these songs... like the beat.
Yeah. It always felt like Motley came alive live.
Yeah. But but the style of music. And the drummer, Brent, the drummer says, you know why? Because it's 4 on the floor. I go, well, what is that? Like, what does that mean? He goes, listen, it's kick drum on every beat. Don't. Like dun, 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 dun. I'm like, fuck, well, let's do that then. So most of our songs are, I shouldn't say we're stealing from Motley Crue, but the principle works. That driving beat, that kick on every beat. Yeah. Like under and over it and things like that. So that's something I learned from being in Vince's band.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think like arena rock is a bad word.
It's essential.
It's essential,
Come
right?
on, dude.
I don't want to be like
You can't stand
club
up
rock.
Right.
What is it?
So what's your new band like, Nikki? It's
Yacht rock.
It's theater rock. That's it. I like stadium rock.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be, I think it just has to be exaggerated and exciting and compelling and big,
Yeah.
Like, and that's, for a while, that was really uncool. Like, I went to see Bush at the Forum in 1990 something, and I just remember thinking, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is what filled this place? Like little amps and little rugs, and everyone just stands there. I'm like, oh my God.
I just went to see them this summer.
Oh, I'm like, what happened?
Were they still staring at the rug?
And they were, they skipped back and forth for a minute, but it filled the place.
I think, sorry, I'm a talker. I think that if you want to sustain yourself in the arena rock business, you better bring something more than a rug. You know what I mean?
I say you got to bring a hip replacement, a knee replacement, a couple shoulder replacements. You got to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
It's football. It's pro football.
It really is.
It's not baseball. It's football.
And I'm starting to get those pains now, and I'm thinking, this isn't good. I'm too young to have that problem.
But you earned it.
Yeah.
That's what my friends tried to tell me.
You earned
They said,
it.
Nikki, man, you earned it, dude. And I'm like, thank you, as I'm going in for a hip replacement.
I mean, what else did you want us to say? Like, sorry about your luck, buddy.
Well, because I thought a lot of these things, and a lot of guys in hard rock that I know of all had, knees done and stuff like that. When I was younger, I thought it was like an old, like 80-year-old man got his hip replaced. Now it's like these football players and athletes and tons of young musicians in their 40s getting that done.
That's right.
From jumping on a cement stage all the time and off of it.
Yeah, I blew my back. I blew a disc by jumping off a drum riser in Converse. Nobody told me, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a long way
no one
down.
told me either.
Yeah.
There should be like a book. We should write a book, a rule book, What Not to Do by Nikki Sixx and Jason Hook.
Honestly,
Don't jump off the drum riser in Converse.
Yeah. It's like putting 2x4s on your feet. And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought wearing high heels was a good idea in my younger years.
It was.
My daughter pointed at a picture of me once and says, Dad, are those high heels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were neat. I love that video, by the way, on Instagram of you and Tommy botching.
Oh, my God. We were out of our mind.
Dude.
Couldn't even do a video ID.
Well, it was hauntingly relatable.
Yeah.
From the back in our crazy days, too.
Yeah.
Because you're so foggy.
And also being on the road, you're doing one of those every day or 2 or 3 of those a day. And you get burnt. How do you keep from being burnt out on the road?
Well, sobriety. I noticed that as you swig your what looks like.
Yeah, it's water, but it looks like a vodka bottle. Yeah.
No, I think that especially like these long tours, we can't really go any longer than 6 or 7 weeks. I know that's not that impressive, but I find that sleep is imperative.
Big time.
I used to have a hard time sleeping on a bus. I mean, just imagine the noise and someone's shaking you. Try to fall asleep when someone's just gently shaking you. Sometimes it doesn't work for me. I had to prop myself up in the bus between the wall and a body pillow.
How about now? Can you sleep good?
Oh yeah, I take a bevy of sleep aids.
Yeah.
NyQuil or even the Ambien and stuff like that if it's really bad. But I had to try to protect your sleep. Don't live on fast food. Obviously, all the no-brainers. Yeah. Don't smoke cigarettes or whatever. You
get a chance to work out on the road at all?
Yeah, and the pattern's always the same. Like I go from the trainer and I tell the trainer I'm taking all my supplements and I'm going to be there and I'm going to do my chest and back, biceps and triceps. And then about 2 weeks in, I'm like, I'm not going to the fucking gym.
It's hard to get up and go to the gym. Yeah. On the last tour when we opened for you guys, I brought this special suitcase. It was like almonds, almond butter, all these supplements. I mean, and I had to display it to the band. I said, check it out. And I brought all these like healthy snacks to put in the freezer, like these, I think they're called Mookie cookies. They're all vegan. I was so proud of myself. When the last day of the tour ended, no one had eaten those Mookie cookies because they tasted them one time. They go, these are horrible. Yeah. Give me a chocolate chip cookie. And it's hard to stay up on top of your supplements and stuff. But the cardio that you get on stage is so valuable. Being off the road for me right now, I'm missing that. I'm going to put a band together just for cardio. I'll be like running.
You will have treadmills.
Oh my God, dude.
That'd be great.
It's so true. So tell me about Hired Gun. I love this documentary.
Thank you. And thank you again for your support. I know that you helped us.
Was it a surprise for you that it would took off like it did?
I saw, when I see the movie and it's it's kind of like hit songwriting. It has those connective elements. I find myself laughing hysterically. I find myself like really feeling grossed out and sad. And there's all those moments are in there. So, it met my criteria as far as what I'd like to see in a documentary. So I thought, well, it should work. So did I expect it to do this? I keep my expectations at a reasonable level because someone told me once
that's
that
smart.
Your happiness comes from how you manage your expectations, and I thought, fuck, that's pretty true. Because if you don't expect much, then you won't be let down too hard. So I didn't want to expect anything from it. I just wanted to do something that met my criteria for good, and then whatever happens after that is beyond my control.
A lot of people in the industry don't realize how many hired musicians there are on every song and many concerts you go to. So I think it was really good at explaining that to people who might not understand. Yeah. And the way it was done was really good. I mean, it was explained in a good way. It was fun,
Thank you.
The Billy Joel thing. Wow, that was hard, man.
That was hard. Somebody I did a interview for somebody and they said, I love the movie, but I think you should change the title. I said, change the title? Well, I can. It's released. He goes, well, I thought it should be called Hired Gun and Billy Joel's a dick. I'm like, okay, it's a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
I can never look at him the same after that whole thing.
Well, let's hope he
won't.
Doesn't come after me.
No, he can't.
No.
But when you're doing stuff like that, especially now, people want high drama. Mm-hmm. And I knowing you, I don't imagine you're like, we got to find some drama for this documentary. It must have just happened.
Well, yes, because it's really, documentaries really are, you set your camera up and you got your questions, but basically the subjects, once they start to get comfortable, like after the first 10 minutes, they start to get into a groove. Mm-hmm. And all those concerns of should I say this or should I not say that from the subject, they go away.
Right.
So these guys get into the momentum of
like they forget.
They
forget. They put their guard down.
Right. Guard comes down. Camera's on. So what we found was that we didn't have to dig too much. These people uncovered it for us. If you film someone long enough, you're gonna get that 5-minute gem where you go, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's the only part we need.
That's awful. Can you keep going?
Well, the Rudy Sarzo stuff was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, he really came across great on television.
I never knew Rudy. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
I knew he had this incredible career,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I never knew anything about him. He was just the guy that licked the bass.
Yeah.
He'd do all that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that's neat. What's that taste like after a gig? You know.
You wouldn't want to lick my neck
Anything.
of my bass.
Thanks.
Good.
So Rudy, he ends up being like just this sweet guy.
Yeah.
Like I love him now. He's the best guy ever.
Yeah.
Love him.
He is one of those guys where he will do anything for everybody. He's super, just super real.
Super real.
Real great
And
bass player.
He's at peace.
Yeah.
Rudy Sarzo has peace. I've never seen him get rattled, upset, complain. And we've asked him to do almost every event. Like we're having another screening, and he doesn't go, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, it's just super cool.
Yeah.
How did you get to see the success of the documentary? I always wonder that. So you put it out, you promote it, and then how do you know?
Well, it's for sale globally now.
Okay.
And it's doing well.
Okay.
What can I say? If anyone hasn't seen it, it's pretty. Go to jasonhook.com because I have all of the links to where it can be streamed, purchased.
Whether it's Apple or Amazon
everything,
or
Amazon,
wherever it is,
Apple, and foreign territories too. So there's different things for Canada, Europe, Australia, Britain.
Right.
UK, whatever. So
I always forget about that.
yeah.
There's
So
other
measuring
places.
the success. I mean,
Does somebody send you an email and say, hey, you know, you hit blah, blah, blah views, or you have X amount of purchases, or, oh, with streaming, it just seems kind of complicated.
I haven't seen any of the financial reporting yet, and it's been deliberate because I'm like, well, first of all, I paid for half of the movie, and then we had an investor pay for the other half. So I've got a huge minus in my total column.
Yeah.
So, and it's not going to be, it's going to be that way for a while. These are the kind of things, it's a long-term play, right? You create something once, you release it globally, and it does its thing. When I'm 70, someone's going to rent or buy Hired Gun, and I'll get my 8 cents or whatever.
And you still won't be recouped. It
Right, yeah. And I'll still be doing interviews going, well, it felt great back then.
felt
So
really great. It
I got
felt
a
really
good
honest.
feeling. Yeah.
I'm $1,000. I'm 87. And when I turn 90, I'll finally break even.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's because you did it because you really believed in the story.
I did.
Was it your idea?
It was, well, yes and no.
Okay.
I started this movie with another director and another partner that stole the money I gave him, and that didn't work out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I was telling this sad story to the new video guy that I met on our tour. I said I started to do documentary. I was really interested in the idea of doing a documentary, and I gave this guy some money, and he disappeared on me. So he's like, "Oh my God, if you had given that to me, we could have done something amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I know this guy, we could have had it done here and blah, blah, blah." So I said, all right, let's try it again.
That's
Proving
cool.
that failure,
Yeah.
Wow, what a brave move.
right, don't pay attention to what's in the rear view mirror.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or you'll crash.
I just saw that you were in the Bullet Boys. I didn't know that. Wait, when was that?
I don't think you're supposed to know that. Wait, no, that wasn't even in the movie, was it? No, I skipped over that game.
We skipped right over that. Yeah, we can skip over that. That's okay.
It's okay. Mark's a friend of mine, actually. I just talked to him the other day.
I mean, so you came up. When you live in Vegas now? Where did you come from in Canada?
Toronto.
From Toronto.
Suburb.
And what was the moment when you made the move to Los Angeles? I would imagine, right?
Yeah. I had a little original band in Canada that got signed to Elektra, actually.
Okay.
Bob Krasnow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were with Bob Krasnow?
Howard Thompson.
Okay. Yeah.
There were some people there.
Yeah.
So, and we were from Canada.
So that was a while ago.
That was 90.
Yeah.
91, something like that. So we moved everybody down to LA for 3-4 months to record this record with Beau Hill.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we finished this record and then submitted it, went back to Canada, and the label hated it. Because think of the time period, 91.
Oh, right.
91, Beau Hill.
What was it? Was it a little more straight ahead rock?
Yeah, it was. It was live off the floor type.
Yeah.
Really organic.
And Beau can get like big, shiny
he was
vocals and great producer.
Glossy of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
It may be a bad thing in the face of alternative.
yeah, in retrospect, I'm glad it didn't come out, because then it would have been, everyone would know that was your band. God.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that happened. I was devastated when we got dropped, and then moved to LA by myself. Said, if I'm going to take another swing at this, I've got to get there and just be there. So I packed up my little Hyundai Pony, like whatever, and I drove down to LA. I beelined it with a couple $100. And luckily, I had met one Canadian guy down there when I was recording, and he said, you can just crash on my couch until you get things sorted out. So
right.
That was it.
That's how it all began.
I always wonder where you guys go when you move here. Like, everybody just comes here with like this amount of money and a car, and then like what? You show up and you cross the border and you're like, oh, where am I going to stay?
I mean, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because so many people that we know came to L.A. I came to L.A. on a Greyhound bus.
Right, and then where'd
what
you
a
go?
Bad idea was that?
What was your first
Park?
My first what?
Like, where do I land?
Oh yeah, well, I had my uncle would let me stay at his house for a while, and he got me a job at Music Plus. But I was long before I was, out on my own and stuff. But it's crazy to think how far you come, like from the other side of of America, and then north up into Canada, all the way to LA, and then you do all this stuff, and then you end up. What year did you join Five Finger?
End of 2008.
2008, yeah. That's been like that was like just it seems like the perfect band for you. Playing wise, just.
I loved them. I saw them and I was like, wow, this is powerful. Powerful, and I want to be in something powerful.
They had another guitar player.
They had another guitar player. And Jeremy, the drummer, has been my friend since I moved to LA in '94.
But he's not a Canadian.
He's not Canadian.
Okay.
No. I'm the
Everybody knows is Canadian. I just have to check.
And Jeremy.
And he's a sober guy, too.
Yeah. Jeremy and I put together a myriad of bands that never went anywhere. Yeah. And he said, my heart isn't heavy metal. If you're going to go tour with other people, I'm just going to look for a heavy metal band to join. So he found that Zoltan, and the two of them started Death Punch together. Okay. That's how that happened. And then Jeremy was always like, well, I know this other guitar player friend of mine, but he's not here right now, but he'd be great. So I had to get out of it was with Cooper. I had to get out of that gig and finish up.
I forgot about the Cooper thing. How long was that?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah. Oh, and Alice doesn't seem to ever come off the road. Was it the same back then?
Yeah. It was hard. That was a hard gig.
That's hard, man. I know the guys in his band now, and they're just like, they love it, but at the same time,
it's
like,
a beating.
When do we go home?
Yeah, it's a beating. And even like Glenn Sobel, who is like a machine. Yeah. That guy is right?
Yeah.
He played.
Yeah.
Even last time I saw Glenn, he was like, I had to tell Shep, the manager, he said, we need to build a break in the show for me because I'm like literally dying up there. I can't breathe. I'm like, this is Glenn, the guy who probably practices 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
His whole life, his drums. Yeah. If he's complaining, it's brutal because there's no breaks. They never stop. Everything just rolls.
I feel that Alice doesn't want to go home or just loves being on the road, and he has his wife with him. So his kids have grown up. So think about it. Like for him, that is home.
It is.
It's scary for me. I think it's an invisible line. I see a lot of old blues guys. They just live on the road. And like, I don't ever want that to be my life. I remember with Motley, there was a couple 18-month tours. I mean, the band almost broke up. Yeah. A lot of bad stuff happens to you when you're gone for 18 months. Health-wise, your behavioral issues. People change. Then you come home and you get dumped into your apartment. You're like, okay, you're home. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? So you need balance. Balance.
You're the only one I've ever talked to that understands. I try to explain it to my dear friends and Stephanie, and I could just see it in their eyes. They're like, they want to understand, but I can tell they just don't understand how hard it is. They're like, what's the big deal? What do you have a 4-hour work week? I'm like,
yeah, it's hard to explain because it's, to me, it's constant information coming in, and that means the audience too. So while you're on stage, 5, 10, 15, 100,000 people, they're all looking at you. Everything you do.
Yeah.
Move to the left, you move to the right. You say something, good or bad, there's a reaction. And that happens in the hallways. That happens on the way to the tour bus and on the way to the radio station. And then, like, you know, you can't even just, like, wake up in your house and, like, get a cup of coffee. Like, you have to call room service. And that person comes and someone's like, what a whiner. But it's nonstop information. So I feel, at least in my case, I start to shut down. I shut down. I'm, like, not really 100% connected because I need a break. I need a vacation from the people that I'm out on the road with. You know, it's just kind of it's one of my ways of dealing with it. But I think if you don't build in some kind of breaks, you'll break up.
Yeah. Well, you guys had your own buses.
Yeah, we had our own buses.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah,
Just
it's so expensive.
It's so expensive, I know, but just have a tank that you can retreat to that nobody can penetrate.
Yeah,
because we were like, it's the privacy and the boundaries. You know, like we'll be at a show somewhere, like playing Anaheim. We played Anaheim, nightmare, because everybody from LA rolls backstage like they are your only guest, and that you're having dinner together, and that you're just going to sit and catch up. And
even if it's a really good friend, you still don't have the time to invest with them and that little hallway meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so,
and everybody wants that time, and they don't realize that I've got 10 friends coming, plus 5 meet and greets, plus I'm thinking about this show that we have to play in front of all the management, all the label, the accountant, the agent, the girlfriend's family, I mean, you name it. That's all happening in about an hour. So I can't even focus on what you're trying to talk to me about.
Yeah.
Like, it's pressure.
Yeah. And do you kind of get it, Jen, because you were out on the road with me?
It was exhausting, and I wasn't even on stage. I mean, there were nights where I couldn't sleep. I could never sleep on the bus. So I would wake up the next day after an hour of sleep and be like, what? And I can't even imagine how you guys play an instrument in front of human beings, let alone talk to people. You know, there's no freedom. Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding what you do.
I feel like being on stage was my break.
Yeah, it was. And even then, you still have to deal with 3 other people.
Yeah.
You guys are heroes in my eyes.
Sometimes being on stage can be very uncomfortable, though. And that's all I'll say.
I know. When you're not getting along with your band, and I've had instances. I remember me and Vince were in a really intense fight. I think it was like Theater of Pain tour.
Over what, though?
Who knows? What do bands fight over? You know, I'm sure it was alcohol.
Didn't you clobber him on behind the answers?
Something, yeah. And he came over to me during Looks That Kill, and he put his head on my shoulder, like when he was singing, like hey, bud, right? And I remember I was so pissed that I went on stage with this unresolved issue that I threw my bass in the audience and I walked off stage, and the security guy had to drag me back over and put another bass on me and put me on stage. But I just remember having so much built up frustration from being gone for like a year and just booze and partying and fighting. You know, when you're fighting with your band members, it's almost impossible to be at your best. You know,
you seem like you're pretty collected on stage. I mean, I know that there's been a lot that's gone on around you. How do you even stay that way?
Well, I love my band, you know, and I really want it to stay the way it is. And so if one person is having an episode, then you have to make a choice. Do I double up on it or do I ignore it for the sake of the audience? Because really it's about the hearts and minds of the people that came to see it, not about how I feel. And I've lost it on stage, so I'm not preaching that I'm perfect, because I had a moment, but I'm real. You know, I react. I have emotions. I'm a human being.
But it builds up.
It builds up.
It's not just the one night.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in all bands. Whether, you know, we don't even have to call out a band name. It is hard to be with 4 or 5 or 3 or whatever it is, other men and women every day, the pressures of all the backstage stuff, the meet and greets. Then if you throw in alcoholism or drug addiction or, you know, fighting, or if you have girlfriends fighting or wives fighting, watch a band crumble.
Yeah.
The Yoko Ono syndrome. It's the worst. So, these are things that people don't talk about, but I like talking about it because then people can like maybe go into being in a band and have a healthy outlook.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but
it's your outlook.
Yeah, but kind of see where you guys come from. I mean, once you do get to that hotel and you want to go downstairs and do something like a normal human being with a normal life,
yeah.
Somebody's like, "Can we take a picture?" And you're just like, I can't. Like, I can't do it right now. And, to talk about things like that and what it is like on stage and when relationships are crumbling in front of you, it's nice for fans to know as well from this side to go, oh, okay. I
don't think fans will ever 100% understand. They can't understand.
Right.
And we can't expect them to understand. I remember the last Motley tour, we were about a year and a half in, and I was fried. I forget what was happening that day, but I was on the phone with Alan, and I was walking out by the buses, a hotel, out by the buses, which I should know better because there's big tour buses. There was really no one around, and someone came up and said, "Hey, can I take your picture?" And I said, "Not right now, I'm on the phone." And I think I was literally like in my pajama bottoms, just rolled out of the hotel, and they took the picture anyway. And I remember just saying, "I got to call you back." And I went over and I said, "Why would you do that?" And they were like, well, "What do you mean?" And I go, "I just told you I didn't want to have my picture taken." They go, "I know, but you're famous." And it started to go down a road, or I was trying to explain to them, and they were like trying to explain to me their position. I went, "This is a conversation that should never actually happen with a fan. We just have to accept that they're going to take photos, and we have to be okay with that."
You know what? Alice Cooper really showed me how to behave in public, because every once in a while I'd find myself out with him doing the mall, whatever, and people would always come up, and he was always so gracious, so kind, so patient, and like women in the mall, "Hey, you're Alice Cooper," and I said, "Well, I'm impressed because with what you've been through and how far you've come, you still have a good handle on how to treat people."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, I'm logging that because that is cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's cool, man.
Yeah. He's really good. Him and his karate movies.
Yeah, he's obsessed.
He loves his karate movies.
He buys them, watches them, and just throws them in the garbage. Like he just a constant inflow of
I don't think he'll ever download a movie.
Hong Kong, yeah.
Like, it's,
Yeah, he no cell phone, no laptop.
Right,
I mean, this guy is old school. On days off, he wants to go to the movies. I'm taking everyone to the movies.
Yep.
Who's in? Who's on? Or
golf.
After the gig, it's always poker.
Yeah.
Poker time.
I didn't know
Come up
that.
front lounge, poker time. Yeah.
Huh. And they're all on one bus, too.
Yeah.
I think they might have finally gone to two buses. Okay. I'm not sure.
Him and his wife.
Yeah.
And then...
Oh, really? So they have Alice's bus and then the band?
Alice getting kinky on that bus.
Oh!
With the makeup
Kung
and stuff.
Fu, yeah.
Oh,
Him and Cheryl.
Yep.
Let's pretend it's 77 tonight.
Oh, boy.
Let's do the welcome to my nightmare. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So what else is going on? What else you have going on, bud?
You're going to Russia.
We are going to Russia in the winter.
Oh.
Hey!
I'm like, who booked that?
I remember the Papa Roach guys telling us that they had a Russian winter tour, but they had a blast.
Russia, I know you've been there. Have you been to Russia?
No.
Oh, the fans there it's like Beatlemania type interest, right? These kids, like 40 kids, will be sleeping outside the hotel on the sidewalk.
In the winter?
Well, I'm exaggerating a little bit. No. But last time I was there, they were parked outside every minute of the day. They were out there and just waiting.
They don't get a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
And when they find the bands they really love, it makes them so happy.
Yeah. It's very far away, so they're very appreciative that we've come to play, and they're big time fans. But what's interesting is, as I was talking to these kids, and I'm like, I'm assuming you guys are all coming to the concert tomorrow. Oh no, we can't afford that. They don't have the money. They're broke. So I'm like, wow. So here I'm putting like 25 kids on the guest list.
Yeah, nice.
Feel awful. I know you made me a doll and you brought me cookies, but I can't not have you come to the show. What sense does that make? We're here once every 3 years. Yeah. So
it's cool to do stuff for fans like that don't expect it, like that kind of stuff.
I do it all the time. I have mothers, and this is not an invite, but I have mothers text messaging me. My kid is a huge fan. It's his birthday tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. And I go, if you could just record a video, and I go, just give me his number. I'll just call him.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, because as long as he doesn't have my number, then I can just have him have.
So for those of you out there that want Jason Hick to call you on your birthday,
right?
Here's his phone number.
Here it goes. Right?
Here we go.
But I'm very much a fan to a fault. I always get tea. Like, you like my shirt? Look at this Kiss Nights and Satan sandwich.
That's amazing.
But I'm a fan. I think it's important to know what it's like to fucking love a band.
Yeah.
I think it's important because there's so much distance between us and those kids that if you weren't one of those kids, you can't understand how to nurture that. I don't think.
Totally.
You got two choices. You meet a fan. They're really excited. It's lopsided. It's imbalanced. Like they're fucking going, "Oh my God, you're my favorite." Da, 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 da. So you have two choices. You either ruin it or enhance it.
I've had mine ruined before by some of my heroes. Not going to name them.
Oh, come on.
You know, and I remember at the time just going, wow, like I don't even like your music anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's that impactful.
Right.
It's that impactful. I try to remember that kind of stuff.
Like Billy Joel.
I hope I haven't blown it. I'm sure I've blown it a few times, but I try.
I don't know if you can bat 100 with that. Though.
Yeah.
You could try. But every once in a while, you're just always ambushed. You walk into ambushes. I'm on the phone finding out about something really serious and bad, and I walk into a room where people go,
yeah,
and you go, no, and I
bad
just have
timing,
to walk
yeah.
out. This is not going to go. I can't share that excitement right this second.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do is leave.
Yeah, you got a good attitude.
Well, thank you. But this happened for Death Punch late, so we had a long time to grow up and mature and think about what will it be like when I'm first making it at 50. No, we're not 50.
So outside of Russia, what else are you doing?
I know none of this is usable.
No, it's all usable.
That's all usable.
All usable.
We're fine with everything.
Are you gone all winter?
We come back, get this, December 22nd.
Oh, I've done that before.
Thanks.
So everyone...
No, start in Russia.
So your girlfriend's getting a lot of Russian stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolls
Merry Christmas.
They have great Russian like Russian strippers. Like you just have to like the outfits, the hat. I could go there. The fuzzy hat and never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in trouble. Well, dude, thanks for hanging out with us so much.
My pleasure. I'm sorry it took so long to get to LA to do this, but I very much appreciate you.
Anytime, man. Our home, your home.
That's cool. And I love this studio, by the way. I don't know if you can see it online anywhere, but it's bitching.
It's a good hang for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
The Sixx Sense.